Hey Fortnite family, welcome to the vlog. I got some water from Grimgate and today we're going to test to see if it works. The amount of edging the servers made us do at the season's launch was pretty crazy. Personally, I thought it was funny because every single launch of a season is always early in the morning, and for it to be in the evening was a very comical change of events. My initial review of the season gave off the impression that I despise any sort of mega powers, like the birdie wings, and thought that they were too broken. While that's far from the truth, I'm happy to say that my final opinion kinda remedies that. Because this shit is useless. Alright, let's do some housekeeping here and pay some respects to the vaulted Striker AR. Yeah, tough luck, I miss you. Hyper SMG, I didn't really use you that much, but it is what it is. Grapple Blade, yeah, I think you were too good. I miss you, but it was inevitable. Enforcer AR and Riot Shield, yeah, you guys can eat shit. Everything else, you didn't really affect me in any way emotionally, so I don't mourn your death because I don't have feelings. With these vaultings, we got some new blood. Look at this long ass name. The Warforged AR. This gun is very similar to the Striker AR. With that, I don't see any reason to really warrant this gun's existence, and I feel like it was just an excuse to make a Greek god reskin. The Hyper SMG's replacement is oddly really good. Like, sometimes I feel like this thing is hit scan and sometimes it doesn't. With the right attachments, I feel like people can run this or the Thunderburst instead of the AR. I kinda think the DMR's a bit shitty. I mean, unless you're a DMR guy, I guess you'll like this gun, but I feel like snipers are just infinitely better. The Gatekeeper shotgun is my go-to shotgun every time, and honestly I feel like it's a perfect in-between shotgun for the pump and frenzy. We got two new mods. Thermal, I don't use that shit, and Speed Grip, I didn't even know what this was until I did research for this video. To be fair, I don't really know what they could really do for mods at this point aside from the rumors of having bullet mods, but yeah, these are kinda mid. The main selling points for this season's theme are the Wings of Icarus and the Lightning Bolt of Zeus. As I mentioned, I wasn't a fan of these at first since everyone was using them because the season was new, the initial rush and urgency to use these items was in full force. And the fact that they were way too common, like I wanted them to be more rare than Mima's brisket recipe from young Sheldon. But now everyone realized that these things are very counterable, which is really funny. Like for competitive, this shit's useless. At first, the Chains of Hades were relatively fine, I didn't have a problem with them, but after they got buffed, these were fucking crazy.
Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. Stay away from me.
And I know next season we're probably going to have items like these and going into it with the mindset of, yeah, these will probably be annoying at first, but it'll simmer down. That type of mindset's going to help out a lot. The POIs and biomes. This was exactly what I wanted and more for map changes. 2 biomes? Damn, girl, you crazy. Grimgate, Underworld, Brawlers, Battleground, and Olympus. All of these are great. Olympus wasn't too optimal for zero build, but given that we've never really seen a POI that's centered around verticality before, it makes this kind of unique.
I have to jump in the water. Oh, there's no water below me.
Battleground's fine too. I think I landed there the least out of the 4 new POIs. Grim and Underworld are definitely better to land at purely because of the water. I feel like they could have added a few more chests in the empty areas in the Underworld, but that's just me. We lost Ritzy and Hazy, and to be honest, I never really cared for Ritzy, and Hazy I was kind of sad about. I was always kind of fond of the layout having a bridge connect to each other. As long as Classy Courts doesn't leave, I'm wholesome. I for sure thought Snooty was going to be gone since Peter wouldn't be a boss anymore. Why is this shit still here? Speaking of POIs staying or leaving, I kind of found the POIs that used to have bosses to be kind of boring now because everyone would go to the new POIs instead because they have bosses. And the fact that the vaults look like this. I think what they should have done is kept the minions around. Not those minions, these minions at the old POIs, and do what they did with the mini vaults where the keycard system is still there, but it's not stacked with insane loot, gold, mod benches, but decent shit that'll get you by. But yet again, I think having the henchman minions at all of these POIs plus the 4 new ones would have been a little too much, so I kind of understand. The bunkers are a little interesting. I'm a fan of the change, but not really at the same time. The problem that I have is when the bunkers start opening, there's a great chance that the bunker that you're near doesn't even open, and if it does, it's already in the storm. There's some games where you never even encounter a bunker that's open, so you just kind of have to roll with the punches and work with whatever shit you got. With all of that said, I'm more happy when it comes to accessing mod benches this time around, because it prevents people from landing at specific areas to get a mod bench off the rip, and instead rewards players for lasting longer in the game. Because you can't just land at a bunker, what are you gonna do, wait? Medallions were definitely improved on compared to last season, and I like how they grant you different abilities. However, I think the downside is how it still kind of forces players to land at certain areas for specific medallions, because some medallions are just more practical, and I will say better than others. Because looking at it, the Ares one could take a hike, the Zeus one is actually pretty solid but prevents you from using shockwaves to their full potential, and since Cerberus gives you the Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph dashes in the mythic shotgun, it makes the underworld objectively the required place to land, since you can easily make your way to the Hades Siphon medallion. I've said it once and I'll say it again, I am a firm believer that the randomness of the vault weapons in Chapter 4 Season 4 was the perfect way to go about this, thus making any place viable, or even last season for that matter, since all the medallions just give you shield. We had some based updates this season, we saw a lot of unvaulted weapons, which was nice, and I think any season could benefit from having new guns and old guns. The catch this time around being that they were given updated models and bullet drop physics. Not to toot my own horn, but I called this shit. But you know what? It doesn't matter because these are dog shit. Like, I used the Deagle once and I was like, okay, I am never using this shit ever again. Look what they did to my boy. My favorite update from this season was the one that gave us the Shield Bubble Jr., Drum Gun, Chains of Hades, and the Floor's Lava LTM. I genuinely feel bad for people that didn't take advantage of the gold chickens when they were in the game. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I balled out with this shit. LTMs are exactly what I've been wanting. A quick little twist on the BR Island with new and old items. Perfect. I like. Ow, I'm burning! I'm burning, John! So I think the big thing that a lot of people have issue with when it comes to this season is the removal of the Greek items in favor of the Avatar Mythics. And I think that's fair. My only thing is that if the Mythics were in the game with the Greek items, everyone would have just been pissed out of their mind, but I feel like it could have worked. If you think about it, Earthbending was decent, I feel like it thrived mostly in zero build. And sorry to you fire enjoyers, but firebending was ass aside from the drop kick. Waterbending and airbending were easily the best Mythics by far, and water actually coexisted in the game with the Greek Mythics. I'm kind of baffled still that the waterbending was pretty much the best AR in the game, because it's the closest thing to a hit scan AR. Like, I don't understand why they made that more viable than assault rifles. And people flying around with the wings and the airbending would have been too crazy, but I feel like they could have made it to where you get stunned if you get shot while airbending, because I'll be honest, these were such a get out of jail free card. I mean, it was badass, but there wasn't really any risk in using the airbending aside from not being able to shoot while using it. It's a tricky situation. I feel like it can go both ways, and I can see why there's a lot of frustration with that decision. Star Wars came back again, and I wasn't really crazy about this one, mainly because it was the same Star Wars Mythics we're used to. The Bowcaster was fine for early game, but I would take an AR over this any day.
What are you?
So I'm gonna address a couple issues that occurred over the course of the season that doesn't really impact the overall gameplay experience and won't affect my overall rating, but I just wanted to put in my 2 cents because I'm the main character and my opinion is final. The cosmetic skin rarity change was something that mildly annoyed me, mainly for organization purposes, because I and many other people remember buying these skins and we saw what rarity they were before buying them, and the color is more ingrained into our heads, and sorting them by season is the next best thing. But the thing is, it's kind of hard to narrow it down because there's like 10 million seasons, so yeah, it's a bit cringe. The theory that the skins are going to be overpriced isn't that convincing as of yet, but it's definitely something that I can see happening in the future. I could honestly push all of this aside if it wasn't for their dog shit reasoning for this. We just want to simplify the appearance of Fortnite and remove any outdated Battle Royale inspired systems.
Really?
So this is my closet with all of my clothes. It's sorted by shirts, sweaters, and pants. But I feel like this practice is a bit old-fashioned. So what I've decided to do is sort my clothes by what year they came out, because I think it'd be simpler for people. Confrontational emotes, I don't use these emotes, but the change is so pointless after all of these years. Like, the most common argument I have heard about this is also the most brain-dead one I've heard. Like, it doesn't affect you, why are you mad? You can still use the emote.
What? What are you talking about?
If people are getting that mad over Take the L or Donkey Laugh that you need to turn it off, then respectfully, I think you have some anger issues that you need to figure out. The plantain one and the whip one, I can see why they did that. It's unfortunate that we even had to get to this point, but I understand. But the other two, I feel like it's gonna make people find workarounds and they're gonna be more toxic because of this. And if Epic Games is so worried about Take the L being toxic, then why did they make it in the first place? It's one of the most iconic Fortnite dances ever and they're now just acknowledging it. It's supposed to be toxic, that's the entire point. What, now you're gonna ban the clown emoji or savor the W? I don't get it. There's other stuff like replacing the shotgun shells with candy for Lego characters and replacing dead with family friendly shit. Yeah, it's cringe, but what can you really do about it? Why did I bring up all of this extra shit? Well, it was to showcase how controversial this season was in both the PR and the BR side of things. I feel like they dropped the ball in terms of theming and they didn't really know what they wanted for this season. Well, yeah, Star Wars came in immediately after Avatar, which makes for more content, I guess. But what it does is it bloats the season and it bloats the loot pool, and I feel like Fortnite should limit themselves to one collab per season in terms of changing the gameplay and POIs. They can put as many collabs in the item shop as they want, that's fine, but if they're gonna be in Battle Royale, they need to make it worthwhile while simultaneously not interfering with the season's mythics. It's kind of weird because I prefer this season over season 1, but I played this significantly less than season 1. Ranking all of these season 2s, I think Mega is actually better than this season, which is why, plugging it into the moist meter, I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. I don't want to give it any higher than a 7 because, to be honest, I see these as 8s and 9s, and I think these seasons are better than Myths and Mortals. Feel free to contest in the comments, change my mind if you will. Use my credit code Leo1 in the item shop if you like me. If you don't, then this will be at your door at 3 AM. Thank you for watching my video program, and remember to have a wholesome day and fly away today.